was once a peasant who had driven his cow to the fair and sold her for $7. On the way home, he had to pass a pond, and already from afar he heard the frogs crying, "Ike, ike, ike, ike." "Well," said he to himself, "they are talking without rhyme or reason. It is 7 that I have received, not 8. When he got to the water, he cried to them, "Stupid animals that you are, don't you know better than that? It is $7, not 8. The frogs, however, stood to their "Ike, ike, ike, ike." "Come then, if you won't believe it, I can count it out to you." And he took his money out of his pocket and counted out the $7, always reckoning 24 groschen to $1. The frogs, however, paid no attention to his reckoning, but still cried, "Ike, ike, ike, ike." "What?" cried the peasant, quite angry, "since you are determined to know better than I, count it yourselves," and threw all the money into the water to them. He stood still and wanted to wait until they were done, and it brought him his own again, but the frogs maintained their opinion and cried continually, "Ike, ike, ike, ike," and besides that did not throw the money out again. He still waited a long while until evening came, and he was forced to go home. Then he abused the frogs and cried, "You water splashers, you thick heads, you goggle eyes. You have great mouths and can screech till you hurt one's ears, but you cannot count $7. Do you think I'm going to stand here till you get done?" And with that he went away, but the frogs still cried, "Ike, ike, 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 ike," after him, till he went home quite angry. After a while, he bought another cow, which he killed, and he made the calculation that if he sold the meat well, he might gain as much as the 2 cows were worth, and still have the hide and bargain. When he got to the town with meat, the great troop of dogs were gathered together in front of the gate, with a large greyhound at the head of them, which jumped at the meat and snuffed at it and barked, "Wow, wow, wow." And there was no stopping him. The peasant said to him, "Yes, yes, I know quite well that you are saying wow, 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 because you want some of the meat, but I should fare badly if I were to give it to you." The dog, however, answered nothing but "Wow, wow." "Will you promise not to devour it all then, and will you vouch for your companions?" "Wow, wow, wow," said the dog. "Well, if you insist on it, I will leave it for you. I know you well, and I know who your master is, but I tell you this. I must have my money in 3 days, or else it would go badly for you. You must bring it out to me." With that he unloaded the meat and turned back. The dogs fell upon it and loudly barked, "Wow, wow, wow." The countryman, who heard them from afar, said to himself, "Now they all want some, but the big one is responsible to me for it." When 3 days had passed, the countryman thought, "Tonight my money will be in my pocket," and was quite delighted, but no one would come and pay it. "There is no trusting anyone now," said he, and at last he lost patience and went into the town to the butcher and demanded his money. The butcher thought it was a joke, but the peasant said, "Jesting apart, I will have my money. Did not the great dog bring you the meat of the slaughtered cow 3 days ago?" Then the butcher grew angry, snatched a broomstick and drove him out. "Wait a while," said the peasant. "There is still some justice in the world," and went to the royal palace and begged for an audience. He was led before the king, who sat there with his daughter, and asked him what injury he had suffered. "Alas," said he, "the frogs and the dogs have taken from me what is mine, and the butcher has paid me for it with the stick." And he related at full length all that had happened. At this, the king's daughter began to laugh heartily, and the king said to him, "I cannot give you justice in this, but you shall have my daughter to wed for it. In her whole life, she has never yet laughed, as she has just done at you, and I have promised her to the man who could make her laugh. You may thank God for your good fortune." "Oh," answered the peasant, "I will not have her. I have a wife already, and she is one too many for me. When I go home, it is just as bad as if I had a wife standing in every corner." Then the king grew angry and said, "You are a boor." "Ah, Lord King," replied the peasant, "what can you expect from a pig but pork?" "Stop," answered the king. "You shall have another reward. Be off now, but come back in 3 days, and you shall have 500 counted out in full." When the peasant went out by the gate, the sentry said, "You have made the king's daughter laugh, so you will certainly receive something good." "Yes, that is what I think," answered the peasant. 500 are to be counted out to me." "Listen," said the soldier. "Give me some of it. What can you do with all that money?" "Because it is you," said the peasant, "you shall have 200. Present yourself in 3 days' time before the king, and let it be paid to you." A Jew, who was standing by and had heard the conversation, ran after the peasant, held him by the coat, and said, "Oh wonder, what a lucky man you are! I will change it for you. I will change it for you into small coins. What would you do with the great dollars?" "Jew," said the countryman, 300 you can have. Give it to me at once in coin. In 3 days from this you will be paid for it by the king." The Jew was delighted with the profit, and brought the sum in bad groschen, 3 of which were worth 2 good ones. After 3 days had passed, according to the king's command, the peasant went before the king. "Pull his coat off," said the latter, "and he shall have his 500. "Ah," said the peasant, "they no longer belong to me. I presented 200 of them to the sentinel, and 300 the Jew has changed for me, so by right, nothing at all belongs to me." In the meantime, the soldier and the Jew entered and demanded that they were owed by the peasant, and this conduct angered the king. They received the blows strictly counted out. The soldier bore it patiently, and knew already how it felt, but the Jew said sorrowfully, "Alas, alas, are these the hard dollars?" The king could not help laughing at the peasant, and once all his anger was gone, he said, "As you have already lost your reward before it came to you, I will give you something in the place of it. Go into my treasure chamber, and get some money for yourself, as much as you will." The peasant did not need to be told twice, and stuffed into his big pockets whatever would go in. Afterwards he went to an inn and counted out his money. The Jew had crept after him and heard how he muttered to himself, "That rogue of a king has cheated me after all. Why could he have not given me the money himself? should have known what I had. How can I tell now if what I have had the luck to put in my pockets is right or not? Good heavens, said the Jew to himself, that man is speaking disrespectfully of our lord the king. I will run and inform, and then I shall get reward, and he will be punished as well. When the king heard of the peasant's words, he fell into a passion, and commanded the Jew to go and bring the offender to him. The Jew ran to the peasant. You are to go at once to the Lord King in the very clothes you have now. I know what's right. Better than that, answered the peasant. I shall have a new coat made first. Do you think that a man with so much money in his pocket is to go there in his ragged old coat? The Jew, as he thought that the peasant would not stir without another coat, and as he feared that if the king's anger cooled, he himself would lose his reward, and the peasant his punishment, said, I will, out of pure friendship, lend you a coat for the short time. What will people not do for love? The peasant was content with this, put the Jew's coat on, and went off with him. The king reproached the countryman because of the evil speaking of which the Jew had informed him. Ah, said the peasant, what a Jew says is always false. No true word ever comes out of his mouth. That rascal there is capable of maintaining that I have his coat